Alright, hello everyone. So today I'm going to make a tutorial on how to host your bot on Heroku for free. So there's a few things we have to do first. So first things first, we have to install Git. It's a version control system on your computer. So if you go on Google and you type Git version control, it's this thing here. So Git about version control. Click on that. I'm actually not on the home page, so I'm gonna go back. This is the home page, and then you just want to download it, right? So you choose if you have a Mac, you choose Mac, Windows, you choose Windows, and just download this and install. After you installed it, you will have an application on your computer called Git Bash, which is this thing here, right? Make sure you have the software installed afterwards. Also, you'll need to go on GitHub, and here you'll have, like, I'm already signed in, so I'm gonna sign out. So if you don't have an account, I'm guessing you probably don't have one already, make sure you sign up. It's free and it's pretty simple. You probably just need an email address. So pause the video, all this information will be in the description, and just go download Git and get an account for GitHub. Alright, so that's all we need from that. This video is explain how to host your Discord bot on Heroku. So if you followed my Scrim bot series and you have a working final version, you can use that. If you're just watching just to get your bot hosted and you already have a bot, well, you can follow along as long as your bot's made in Node.js. So if you've been following the series or for the Scrim bot, or you have your own bot yourself, so you should have a folder like this which contains all the information for your bot, all the code, all the modules and stuff. So to get things started, we're gonna open our shell. I put the font extremely big this time so it's easier to see. Okay, so let's say you're opening your shell. Make sure it's not an administrator. Open just regularly. And you have your project folder here with all your code in it. You just type CD for change directory. You drag it in. And then you press enter. And when you do that, you saw I went from my users page and then to my document YouTube Heroku Snipebot. And this is where my project is. So first things first, we need to install something called .env. Alright, so to download that package that we need, you just, in your shell, you type npm install and then .env, so like dot, then environment, and then you double dash and then save. This should do a little loading, and then you see here I got one package installed, and so that means it's in there. Alright, from that, now we can use that thing that we just grabbed. So close your shell, you can close your project folder, and this is my index.js for the tutorial bot I made. And we're just going to require the package. So we're just simply going to type, we don't even need to write a constant for it, we're just going to require it directly. So we want to get .env, and then we want to grab the config version of it. So exactly how we need to write, simply just require .env/config. And this is because we're going to store our our token and owner ID and stuff we had in settings. We're going to have to change the token location to the environment. So here, make sure when you see this, like that circle here, that means your file's not saved. So if I save it, it says like that, so then you know it's saved. We're just going to go into a project directory, the whole bot here, and we're going to grab a new file, and it's going to be called .env. Alright. Okay. So now we have our .env file. This file is going to contain simply two things. One thing will be our token. So you just simply write token, all in caps, then equal, and then go into your settings file and grab the token you have here, copy it, and just paste it. Alright? And then you just press enter to go on a second line, and you're going to write something called port. This is because we're going to run a server. So I'm going to use port 3000. You should probably write the same. It doesn't matter, but just follow along so it'll be easier to see. And now save this file. Alright, so now we have our token with the new location and our port 3000 saved. So here, how we have like token settings, we're gonna have to change that. To change that, now we're going to do a few things. We're going to write a really simple server, which is just one line of code, and it's very, very basic. This is just to connect to the Heroku. So we're going to create a constant. We're going to call it HTTP. And this will require the HTTP module, which is already pre-installed on Node.js, so you don't have to actually install that package. And then we're going to create a new constant. I'm going to call it port. This is what I wrote in the .mv file. And to get access to that, we're going to our process, right? And then we're going to go process.env, and then I'm going to go port, and then I'm going to put or 3000. So if we can't read the file from our environment file, use 3000 no matter what. This is just a secure way to do it, so if something doesn't work, at least it'll always work. And then at the very bottom, where we log in our bot, we log in with the token here. This, we don't have access to that variable anymore, right? This thing here has to change. So token is now equal to process.env, and then .token, and then put a semicolon at the end, and save like that. Save this whole file. Go to your settings, remove this line completely, and then save. We're not going to use the settings file to hold our token anymore. So now we have this. Since we're using a server, our HTTP here, I'm going to add one line at the very bottom. So after our bot.on message, so if I click this, you see it closes down here. So I'm going to go down here, I'm going to put bot.on, and I'm going to use the error event. So if ever an error occurs, I want to catch that error and not it stopping the bot from running, right? So our error, we're simply just going to console log the error right back to the screen. Simple as that. It's just that'll catch the error, and it won't throw it, so it won't stop the program. Alright, so now that we wrote that, go back to the top, and over here we're going to declare our server. So our server is going to run on port 3000, as I said, so we're going to HTTP, and then we're going to create server. And then after that, we're going to listen, and we're listening on which port, which is what we wrote. We're listening on port 3000. So listening on port, this variable right here. And simple as that, this is a simple server. That's all you need. Alright, you can save that. And now that we have so we got our server listening, and we got our environment files configured, we should be able to set it up on Heroku. So Heroku is this. I'm going to open a web browser. Alright. You go on Heroku.com. So I already have projects here because I have stuff running on Heroku, but you're going to have to sign in with your GitHub account. So you won't have to create an account here, you just simply sign in with the GitHub. And then I'm going to create a new app. Alright, so here I'm just going to call it YouTube bot. Alright. YouTube demo bot. I don't know. Okay, there we go. So YouTube demo bot is accepted. And then you can choose your region. So let's say you want a United States server or a EU server. Pick which one. If you're in EU, then I would recommend using that because the ping and the latency will be lower. If you use a North American server like the United States one, only if you live in the United States. And then you click Create App. This will open this page here. And from here, you want to connect with your GitHub, right? And from there, you can search the name of your project. And so I'm going to show you how to put your project on GitHub now. So I'm going to open GitHub, you sign in, and then start a new project. I'm gonna put it as private because I have a student account, so I have access to this. But you can use it public. It does not matter. So I'm gonna call this just example bot, and I'm not gonna put any description or anything. Just simple as that. I'm gonna create this thing. Alright, keep this open for now because it'll be useful for you to use as a reference. So open your PowerShell. I'm just gonna clear everything so it looks clear. And now we're going to type git init. Alright? My bad. Don't use your PowerShell. Open this git program. I'm gonna make the font bigger for you guys. Text. Select. Alright. So this is your git file. So you do the same thing we did at the start of the video. You type cd to change your directory, and then you open your file where your bot is, and just copy paste it in, and then you press enter. So now I'm in the right directory. So if I list, these are all. So I just typed ls here. These are all the files that are inside this project. And then I'm gonna type git init. Alright, you see what it says here? Initializing and to git repository. That's what you want to see. And then this is still, it has nothing included in it. So we're gonna type git and then add space, and then we're gonna put a dot. And all these warnings and things just because I usually work on a Linux computer. I'm using Windows, so it's changing the end files for stuff. But after this all went through, I have added all my files into the git. So now I want to commit these changes. So I'm gonna go git commit and then /m, and then you open quotations. This is a message to tell what you changed. So I'm gonna say new project. You can type anything, doesn't really matter. Just trying to think of something that was kind of like in context with what I was doing. So now you press enter. You see here how all these things, these are all the files related to the project. So they all got added. And now before we can push these changes onto GitHub, we have to open up that browser again where you have these. So create a new repository. We don't want that, we already created one. So we want to push an existing. So you go take this line git remote whatever, just copy it, the whole thing, right? And then once you go here, you can't paste without right clicking, so right click and paste. And then once you press enter, it will do nothing, completely nothing, but it works. You just did a remote connection towards that. So now if I type git and I type push and then origin master, it's going to probably ask you to log in if it's the first time you've done this. If it's not the first time you've done this, it'll automatically just push the files onto it. So now if I go and I refresh my GitHub, you see all these files that are on my computer are now being displayed on my GitHub repository page. And now if I go back to, oops, I should keep that open. And now if I go back to Heroku and I type YouTube, I think that's what I called it. No, I don't even know what I called it. Give me 1 sec. It's called example bot. Alright, so I'm just gonna type example, and if I search, you see here this pops up. So my example bot pops, and you connect that. We're simply just going to push the deploy branch button, and then this will open a little terminal here that'll explain a few things that's going on. You just gotta wait. And then it's success. But I just realized something, so we're gonna have to do this real fast first. We're going to go here and we're going to create a Procfile. So you just simply go in your project directory, you add a new file, and capital P Procfile. Just simple as that. No extension on it, just Procfile. And here we're gonna type worker and then node index.js. I'll explain why we do this afterwards, so save that. Since this is locally on my computer and it's not on my Git server, I'm just going to type the same thing as we did earlier. So git.add, add dot, so I'll do that again since I said it wrong. Git add dot git commit m with quotations and then procfile, let's say, because I forgot to do that initially. Now we're just going to git push origin master. Alright, so now my file has been sent. It's on the server. I'm going to go back to Heroku, and then we're going to redeploy. So deploy branch, because we really need that Procfile. The reason why we need that Procfile is because if you keep your bot just as the what it'll put default, the bot will go to sleep after 30 minutes of not being used. So we want to use a worker dyno instead of using a web dyno. Alright, so now that we got this, we can go in resources. So this hasn't shown anything yet. Okay, so after a few seconds, I had nothing here initially, and then it slowly loaded up. And this is our web dyno. This one we want to edit, and then we turn it off and we confirm. Alright, and then we edit this one, you turn it on and you confirm. By doing this, now your bot will stay online 24/7. But I have to explain something for this first. So by running your bot online on a free dyno on Heroku, they give you a free 550 hours per month of hosting. So that is a full month of 24/7 having your bot online is approximately like 700 hours or 750. So you can't actually have your bot for free for 24/7. But what you can do, which is still 100% free, is if you go up here and you go in your account settings, I'm not going to go there because there's confidential information. You can go in your payment type, and if you add a credit card number, it'll give you an extra 450 hours for free. It will not charge you on anything on your credit card. The only reason why they want the credit card there is to validate that you're a real user and not a bot. By doing that, you'll get 1,000 hours in total in a month, which is plenty for just a small project like this. Like I have I bought like real dynos from them, not the free ones, to have a more stable experience and have access to more resources in general. But simply if you just want to have your bot on your server, on your Discord, and run it all day long, you can do it this way. If you want extra hours to make sure it always runs, make sure you write your credit card number. It will never charge you anything. Alright, so now we have this going. You can type here in view logs, right? And you see view logs here. It shows me that I started my process with node.js, state changed, and then these are the commands that my bot has. And so this is the exact same thing you would usually see in your shell when you ran it. Oh, I don't know what I just did. I just closed everything. Alright. So if I open everything up, so this is what usually you would get there. But now if I open my Discord, you see my YouTube Scrimbot, he's online now. And I'm not running it off my computer. So now if I want to test it, so I just want to write, let's say, the 60s command. It returns me. So if I do the start command, and then I type, oops, I gotta type 3 things. Whatever we type, it goes in. And then I have a test user on, so I'm just gonna go use my test user here. And I'm just gonna type a code with him as well. So if he's the same code as you, he's getting into your box. If he's not, he's in a separate. So now we got our bot 100% functional without needing to have a computer on all day long. So this is really useful for having a stable bot. And if something happens that your bot crashes, it will automatically be reset. So if I open my browser again, you see here all these things. These are console logs that I have on the bot. It's the exact same thing as having your shell open at all times to run your bot. Alright, well, that's literally all we need for this. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section and I'll try to respond to you. Usually, if you have errors or anything, I don't respond to the errors in the comment sections. You contact me on Discord because I can see what errors you get by seeing like screenshots of your code or error messages. It's really hard to debug people code on a comment section. So if you have anything, my Discord ID will be in the description. You can look it up and then send me a message about what's wrong. I pretty sure I've responded to everyone that sent me a message and I helped them. Also, if you have any suggestions for anything else you would like to see a tutorial on, leave it in the description. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more of these tutorials, and like if you like this video, and have a great day.